The parents I've met here are quite remarkable. Now, of course, that's by definition. They wouldn't be doing this if they weren't remarkable. But I find it how they find the time and the energy and to allocate their day with other children, with a child who has special needs, as they call it now. I can see that these women, and often mothers and fathers, have dedicated their time to make sure that their child does as well as he can under the circumstances. And that means that they have a recognition, which I've always felt, going back years, before I knew people who had to face this with their children, that you have to strive for the next level, whatever that is, up that ladder. Oh, I've learned so much here. I was so out of touch for decades that to come back to the world and see what's being done now, both in terms of the institutional attention that patients get, but also the technology. And I'm pretty much of a Luddite. I can barely send an email on a computer, but to see the equipment they have here, which can show inside the brain and the pressure points that they now recognize as those parts of the brain which send signals or where signals are interrupted. It's amazing. And what strikes, and when I first sat and saw some of this stuff here at Kennedy Krieger, I would say, how extraordinary. And the doctors would say, it is extraordinary, but we're just touching the surface of knowing what the brain really is. It'll take another 30 years to really know more. And that's exciting to me too. There's something else here in the new building downtown which I found fascinating, and that was the big swimming pool on the top floor. When I was a kid, I loved to swim. I was thrown in the water when I was probably 3 years old. I could take my braces off. It was so relaxing. My parents would simply throw me in either Lake Geneva or in a swimming pool, and I had to learn how to swim. And I would just be buoyant. It was so wonderful. But that was new a little bit. Not everybody did that. A lot of other parents who had children who had cerebral palsy were rather shy about that. They weren't sure they were afraid their children would drown. Anyway, of course, now that's become part of regular therapy, and for good reason. For me, just getting those heavy braces off and being buoyant in water, was that a wonderful moment. So in many ways, I tell people now, it's a little bit simplistic, but in many ways, I swam better than I walked for many years, because I had to learn. And I've seen that here. I've seen the new equipment. It's extraordinary.